Hello everyone, this is Blake, or it's the B71, and I'm back with a great update. I think the title is down here now. ClearBags, Blake sleeve, record sleeve update. Very good update coming from ClearBags. Had a good conversation with another guy, a more technically oriented guy, I believe, at ClearBags yesterday, and got some of our concerns from the last batch, from the last samples that were sent to me, straightened out, and got some good news I wanted to share with you. So, but first, for David Sequoia Flame, he showed that he had gotten a copy of Opus Krampus, Griot Galaxy, Farouk Z-Bay, a man right there. He had gotten a copy from overseas shipped to him, and prompted me to dig mine out this early Friday morning. So yeah, I wanted to put this up before I head out on the road this morning. Got some miles ahead of me, but since the last video, there were some concerns, of course, of the two batches of sleeves. We had the double that came in, both flap and flapless versions. If you remember, I had two major concerns. One was that it had kind of an oily feel to them, and the other concern was that they smelled funny. The general size was fine. The flap, at least the flap was fine, and also the adhesive. There was a little bit of shifting in where the adhesive was located, but got all of those concerns answered, and answered to astonishingly enough our satisfaction. So let me go through a rundown. They did send me another batch of sleeves another pack of sleeves from the same batch of the flap double. And this batch, if you remember, what I had done before was I showed you a squeak test, and these, well, oh darn. Oh wait a minute, these are the wrong ones. Hold up. Alright. So, these do pass the squeak test, and I've got some comments on that. The other contact from ClearBags that talked with me yesterday explained some of the differences that we could see in the biaxially oriented polypropylene material. It's a plastic that takes a lot of components that you mix up to make a batch, and depending on several different things, specifically the exact component mixture, the structure of the BOP material can alter a little bit, and in some senses it can go a little softer, and in some senses, in some aspects, it can go crisper. And the original Blake sleeve was a version that had a crisper feel, and that's why the squeaking was very easy to do in that batch, or in that portion that we got. So we were assured that there was no differences in the plastic itself. It's just the way that the mixture, the batch, landed per se. So there certainly, I was assured there's certainly nothing oily. There are no plasticizers added to it or anything like that. Just that the vinyl community, Blake, our tolerance level for that kind of difference had been breached, and we were concerned. I was concerned because of the past experiences that I've had with PVC rod and stuff like that, and the time that I've had with Bags Unlimited bags. So the bags are fine. There were some that are, you know, a little bit more soft than the crisp, but they're fine. They did make a note though that the bags that they're making for the record sleeves and the vinyl community and things of that nature, that we would prefer a crisper bot material. So now in their specification, any later batch runs that they make, they will strive for a crisper bag, because that's what we're more interested in. I got some notes here. Let me make sure I got all this covered. Yeah, so that's it for the oiliness. Just letting you know that there's no oil on them. It's just the way that the bags feel. So I had a pack of that were softer than the crisper ones I was expecting. Now the other major concern that I had was the smell, and that was explained to me in the sense of like a new car smell. The film that they had gotten hadn't I guess dissipated yet. They'd been used very shortly after its creation. I'm not quite sure of the terminology that they would use, but these bags, since they were made right after that point and then sealed up in the other packs, you know how they pack them in 100, so they were sealed, so it's trapping that smell inside of the bag, and so that's what the smell is. And we were assured that, you know, there's nothing harmful in there. In fact, they reminded me that, you know, these particular bags are indeed archival quality. They're food safe and they're acid free, and they have been for many number of years. So no concern there. I was just quick to the gun because of, you know, all the shortcomings that have been happening, to automatically assume that there was something wrong. With that, oh, I wanted to show you of these. Out of this more crisp version that they sent me, it even looks more like the original Blake sleeve. So this is the new one that they sent me, the softer one, and this is an original Blake sleeve. So just trying to give you a sense for, you know, it's not exactly the same, but it's extremely close. Out of the new pack that they sent me, I would be very happy with them. As to the differences in the distance between the lip and the stripe, I did get a note from ClearBags that they had found approximately 2,000 pieces that the tolerance range of where that distance is fell with outside of our desires, so they pulled them aside. So there should be no concerns there of getting sleeves where your flap will not reach the stripe. In fact, what I'll do is I'll pull up our, you know, my famous example here in one of their sleeves and show you a couple of examples of, you know, the flap easily going over the stripe here on the double, as should be expected. So that's good. And then also, if in the previous video I had the triple. Woo, Farouk's tearing it up, huh? So I wanted to show you shocking shaking days. You know, a trifold. I'll show you this big thick boy. I mean, wow. All right, put that into here as well. Now again, the concern here would have been, well, two things. Will it fit? Yeah, it fits fine. No problem getting it in there. Still a nice tight fit like we like. But will the flap reach the stripe? And what I'll do on this one is I'll just pull the What do you all do with those things? Man, some of them, some days I have like a mountain of those things. And so here's the flap over its stripe. Now, it is close. I'd say there are probably 2 millimeters left on the outside of the flap after the stripe. So, I mean, it's a close call, but nevertheless, I was able to get this triple in this sleeve with no problem at all. So one thing I have noticed with the doubles, or this last batch, is there was a period where we were seeing some splitting here. I haven't noticed the splitting, although I've learned to be careful with them, so maybe it could just be a combination of, yeah, the seam is a little bit better, and also I'm a little less aggressive in ripping off that strip, which is often how I have caused the seam to split. So, just the oiliness and the smell. One thing back to with anything, and this is one thing that honestly ClearBags has done all along, and I probably not have touched on this topic enough. Anytime you have a problem with any of the bags that you get from ClearBags, they will accept them back, and they will try to work with you in a reasonable sense, in terms of getting you a different batch, or they will try again to make things right for you. And I've known I've had several people tell me that they've had to try like 3 or 4 times to get what they were looking for, and so as onerous and maybe frustrating as it can be, shipping the stuff back and forth until you get it right. Yeah, that may be a little frustrating, but they will do what they need to do to make things right. One final point that excited me quite a bit, and maybe a few of you out there, I've always, from the very beginning, we had our Blake sleeves made at their Utah manufacturer here in the United States, and I've always wanted them to keep making the bags here in the United States. Now, they proposed an idea about making a premium line where they would take their same specifications and they would keep all of the manufacturing of our sleeves at their U.S. plant, their U.S. manufacturer in Utah. So, of course, I jumped on that. Yes, the price will go up just a little bit, but as I said several times, when we were doing our custom orders, the difference between having them made in the United States and having them made outside at their China location, besides the much longer wait time on getting them shipped by boat from China, was 2 cents a sleeve. And thankfully I'm in a position where I can pay 2 cents more per sleeve, and I bat an eye to keep the work here supporting our U.S. manufacturers. So hopefully that will come through, and then we'll get an option of whether we buy U.S. manufactured products for just a slightly a little bit more in price. Now, the quality is going to be very high. If you remember, that's where all the original Blake sleeves were made there, and the quality was that we could find no problem with them, if you remember. Specifically, if that sounds like something cool to you and something you would support, put a comment down below and let them know that, yeah, we would pay just a slight increase to keep the manufacturing here in the United States. I definitely will, and I encourage you to also make a comment and let them know that that sounds like a good idea to you. So, oiliness, not a problem. Smell, not a problem. The distance in the stripe, they've got that cleared up. They pulled out all of the ones that were out of tolerance. Everything else should be fine. If you happen to get something that doesn't work for you, they'll be happy to replace it. The plastics are the same, just a little bit different in terms of the batch makeup, whether you go a little bit softer or crisper. We tend to like the crisper better because that's what we're used to, but there's nothing wrong with the softer. Let's see. Is there any? Oh, in the premium line discussion, so lots and lots of good updates. So the last video was called the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is going to be called the good, the good, the good, and the better. So let's see. I guess Farouk's done for now. Great to see, David, that you got yourself a copy of Opus Krampus. I've been spending mine now in remembrance of you showing that, and I think we're done. So if you have any questions, of course, ask me in the comments below or message me privately, and I'll answer you when I can. I think we're done here for now. So thank you, ClearBags, for clearing all of those concerns up, and I stand corrected on the quick judgment that I made. But we like to call it like we see it, and sometimes we always don't see straight. Beginning the rambling phase now, so I will tune out. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you on the other side.